digital marketing aspect of this industry, right? Now, how we met was a very, very funny and interesting way, right? I saw you on Google, man. I was just Googling different companies. I pick up the phone, I called, and lo and behold, man, you know, you're one of the only owners that actually has their phone number on their website. Everyone else is routed somewhere else, somewhere here, the receptionist. You're one of the only people. So when you picked up and answered and we got to talking, man, it automatically, when I heard the passion you had for your company and industry, I knew I want to work with this guy, right? This is the client. This is the landscaping guy that has the vision, that wants to go to the next level. And you, on the other hand, as well, right? You saw something in ProScape. When we were talking, it was between us and a more local marketing company. Let me ask you, what was the thing that set us apart and made you go with us in this regard?
So, AK, yeah, you know, rewind, pick up the phone, here you are. You know how many phone calls I get every day, potential spam, cars extended warranty, people trying to sell me something, and having the same phone number for 15 years and being the same person to answer every single phone call for 15 years, I think is foundational. I think it speaks volumes. So anybody out there that does want to become successful, anybody out there that is trying to grow, cannot hide behind this. They have to be the face of this. And even as we grow today, I'm facilitating calls to a very trained and very knowledgeable office manager, but it's the scariest thing in my life because this has been my livelihood for 15 years. When you run a business, if this thing rings, it could change your life. If you miss that call, it could change your life. Like, seriously. So, AK, you called, and what you don't realize is that we were lagging in the social media world already, and I knew that. And as I've been following all of the guys in the industry and learning and growing, social media and digital marketing is insane. It is the new phone book. It is the new, you know, like everybody, 99% of every customer finds us on the web. So I knew that we were lagging in the content that we were producing, the amount of content, the type of content, the platforms that we were on. You see what I'm talking about? Potential spam right here. So I knew we needed to fix that. On the flip side of it, AK, there was a dilemma. And I think a lot of guys can relate to this. If you're transitioning from one area to a new area, you may not have a lot of content to put out there in regards to what you do and who you are. So for us, as we transition, I almost took a backstage seat from a social media standpoint. I wanted to put enough out there once or twice a week to be alive, right? But we weren't producing like we needed to. So over the last several years, I've captured a whole lot of content. But I've also understood that that content needs the right curation. And as a landscaper, if I step back and take a before photo and step back and take an after photo, and there's no curation of it, the effect really isn't all there. So I have been working with multiple different social media companies, marketing companies, advertising companies. Really, this year was our year of saying, hey, we're going to explore our options. We're going to interview some different companies, and we're really going to see who fits. And I believe all people should do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So for me, it was local. I reached out to a few references, got a few contacts, had a few local companies, sat down with them. And the way I like to put it, AK, is I felt like I had a baby to give birth to, and I needed the right hospital, I needed the right doctors, I needed the right equipment, I needed the right coaching, I needed the right monitoring, all to bring what I feel like I had to life. I met with multiple companies. I was very hesitant to sign with any of them for one of two reasons. One, I didn't feel they were relevant. I didn't think they knew it, they got it, they understood it, and they were like leading the edge of the industry. I felt like they were lagging behind. Maybe they were old companies, older strategies, and with the times changing, it almost made them irrelevant. So I said, okay, they're not the right fit. Then I met with another guy, and he could do bits and pieces of what I was looking for, but he didn't have the other side of really what I was looking for. So maybe he could help me with the website, but doing the graphic design and the social media was not his lane. So I said, okay, again, I want to do business with one person that can kind of accompany, or one business that can kind of accompany the whole relationship. So after meeting with a few, I found one local company, and I was very intrigued by our conversation. They brought me in-house. I sat down with their team of 5 different people in their office. They showed me some work that they've done. I talked through my vision. I talked through what I wanted to do, what I thought some cool ideas were, and then I waited. And I waited. And then I waited some more. And then weeks went by, and weeks went by, and then I got a follow-up of like, hey, kind of sorry, we didn't get back to you, but you know, we're still figuring some things out, and we're gonna talk with, you know, our web guy, and then weeks and weeks and weeks, and then it just completely fell off the face of the earth. So in that process then is when you called. And again, I'm always hesitant about anybody calling, trying to sell me anything, especially when it comes to like Google my business profile, social media, Facebook, SEO, like get those calls all day. But for some reason, I felt like, hey, you know what, AK? I was transparent with you. I said, hey man, I hear what you guys do. You guys niche in the landscaping sector. Here's kind of where I'm at. Here's what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts? I liked what you had to say. I thought like, man, you know what? Something about this guy stuck with me. Like he knew it, he understood it, he got it. He was willing to have conversation and listen. So I was like, you know what, AK, listen, ProScape, you're not local. And that to me it kind of bothers me because I'm a local guy. I do business with local businesses, and I like to sit down and shake hands and have coffee and have breakfast. And so I remember, AK, I said, you know what, if you guys are serious about earning my business, then put me together something. And honestly, what ProScape put together for me was the most thorough and in-depth overview or evaluation and analyzation that I had from any of the other companies that I was potentially doing work with. Even the ones that I sat down with at length, whereas you were coming kind of from the outside in, already having done some of this research and data and evaluation. So from the first evaluation folder, I was very impressed. I was very impressed by the animated videos and the fact that your team seemed to be relevant in the social media, creating content, new systems, new ways, new strategies. So AK, I remember I was like, hey, if you guys want to earn my business, I like what you got to say, I like where you're at, but we're gonna have to meet. And that spoke volumes to me. You know, when you guys showed up, 4-hour drive just here, 8-hour, 9-hour round trip to come and have a cup of coffee with a guy that hasn't paid you a dime, that is very much saying, look, you could earn my business or you could very well not. It's a 50-50 shot here, right? I respected that. And I think like the foundational pieces, like we talked about, like answering your phone, like your word being your work, like a handshake meaning what a handshake's supposed to mean, like eye contact, like all of these different things that are so simple and foundational yet almost extinct, right? I've seen your team step in and begin to alleviate the risk, so to speak, or the uncertainty, if that's a better word. Because I was a little uncertain, like, hey, I don't really know these guys. You know, when you start talking social media and marketing and advertising, you're literally, it's a baby. Like, you're developing a child. You know, like, your social media is your business in one aspect. So the team that you have around that is extremely important. Like, if it takes weeks for me to get an answer, that baby's dead. You know what I mean? Like, if there's something going on and I need some additional help and we need to, you know, make some revisions and adjustments and that happens swiftly and like that makes a difference. So, like, throughout all of our dialogue, and we had several phone conversations, and that stood out to me too, AK, because I think you can tell a lot by the fruit that a thing bears, right? You can tell a lot within the first 30 seconds or a minute of when you meet somebody. If there's somebody that is actually listening or is just there to try to sell you something. You can tell if somebody actually understands it themselves or if they're just putting you in a box with everybody else. You can tell if somebody is creatively thinking on your behalf, or you can tell when somebody is kind of just checked out and not creatively thinking. I am very satisfied and very excited about where the relationship is going to go with ProScape and Luck Landscaping. From the podcast to the animated videos to the character creation, and really my goal, twofold, is to not only be a voice for landscapers on the business end of it, but to also come and collaborate with your team to say, hey, if you're on the fence right now about maybe hiring ProScape, or if you don't know if they're a good fit, then it's much better to hear it from somebody on the other side, right? Like my testimony of what we do versus my customer's testimony of what we do. People would much rather go to my Google reviews and hear 20 plus 5-star reviews from other people than to hear about, hey, we're the best. We can provide the best quality, the best service, the best designs, the best products, the best customer service. It speaks volumes to let my customers say that for me. So on your behalf, I just like to say that if there's anybody on the fence right now or considering like, hey, how does this work, right? Or I need somebody from the other side to maybe solidify or maybe help me in making this decision. And AK, ProScape, you know, Z, Mafuzz, like all of you guys, I have genuinely enjoyed working with. And you do business, again, with people you know, like, and trust. So I know you guys. That took a little bit of time, conversations, meeting, Zoom calls. I like you guys. And even more importantly, like, I'm trusting you guys. So to have our trust, you know, is huge. Because that's what it is. It's like, hey man, here's my baby. Here's my business. Here's my social media platforms. Here's my website. Here's everything. Like, there's an incredible amount of trust there. But I will say, I have been very excited every time we meet. I've been very happy to see the fruits of what we've put together. And I'm intrigued to see where we're going to go. And I think we're going to inspire and motivate so many more. And my goal is that many more guys that probably are in the same boat, looking for local companies, finding older models that don't work, don't have anybody that specializes, masters less, so they could be the best in one niche. And that's where I think ProScape has really got a lot of opportunity and potential. to come into this landscaping industry that needs a lot of help, and specifically help navigate through that with other business owners, landscape business owners, landscape contractors.